All right, welcome to my daily review. Thank you for watching. I just wanted to point out a couple of things today. I know people starting to get a little frustrated with this pullback, but it was expected. You could see from the there's like a cup with handle pattern here that the Nasdaq formed, the pullback here, and then I believe it was on May 10th was our date that really we had a breakout, and then it ran here about a 20% move, and now it's given back 7%, which is fine, and that's expected, right, to digest those gains. But a couple of things that bothered me a little bit about today is that today's action undercut the lows from Monday, which was 13,582. Okay, let me zoom in here. So on this day, it made a low and then rallied above. So it was like a reversal candle, and the low is 13,582. So we're looking for that number to hold and to start rallying back above. But we have these two inverted hammer candles in a row here, which is bearish. So the bears are winning. The bears are having their day, and the low is at 13,473 today. So that will be the new number that we look for. But a 7% sell-off, it's getting pretty oversold. And what do I mean by oversold? And whatever becomes oversold could become more oversold. And don't buy any of those lines like, oh, there's cash on the sidelines that's coming into the market. Or the other one I like is, oh, they're in the Hamptons. The fund managers are in the Hamptons. When they come back, we're going to grab. Well, when they come back, they could sell too, all right? Also, it's machine trading mostly these days. People can trade from the Hamptons, but you can see these oversold levels here right before the market bottom back in last early October, and then right before our March to July rally, it got this oversold. Now here we are again, and I don't post these new high, new lows numbers because it just messes people up. Like, people think, oh, we can't buy any stocks because there's more new highs and no lows. Forget about that stuff. The stocks that you want to buy and that are ripping higher have nothing to do with this. Okay, so we're only selecting specific strong stocks, and so that's why I don't really want to refer to much macro data. That's about as macro as I get right there. Anyway, I want to take a look at some strong stocks. I know we can always find terrible stocks within the pullback, and people are having a cow that their stocks are going lower. So all stocks are bad unless they go up. So we only want stocks that are going up. So I'm only going to focus on the good stocks today. Try to stay positive. Don't get negative. Don't buy any of the negative media talk, or don't talk negative about yourself either. I mean, let's be positive. Let's look at some positive things that are happening here. I like drugs, and Lilly is one of the top drug stocks. And I'm not even gonna have to comment on these charts. If you just take a look at the direction of these, I'm not saying buy them. I mean, they're not on my buy list. Some of them are. I'll point them out when I get there. But here's Novo Nordisk. Since the July 19th peak to trough move, 7% move on the Nasdaq, this one is up like 20-something%. So these ones are doing well. Another Dow Jones component, AMGN, is another drug stock that's doing well. If you look at the weekly, what you have to do on these big charts, this thing has been coming off the bottom up like 6 weeks in a row. So just make a note of it. It doesn't mean you buy it tomorrow. Just make a note of it. Some of the construction stocks are showing well. Builders up a ton since the market started its pullback. I understand that there was a TV guy talking, pumping this stock up last night, and it was down more than 2% today and traded down to its 21. So isn't that par for the course? DR Horton, another stock, pulled back to its 50. It got a boost earlier in the week because Warren Buffett had invested some in the 13F filings that came out earlier in the week. But like I say, you don't want to follow that type of information. Pulte Homes have been up a lot. It's been respecting the 21. Today it fell beneath its 21 and actually closed below its 21 here, barely 0.2% below its 21. So let's look for support there on Pulte Homes. Some of the larger data center stocks like Amazon, I had a good report. This thing's up a lot while the Nasdaq has pulled back. We know those mega cap tech stocks that aren't performing well. I'm not going to go through them every day. but Amazon's performing well, Google, and also, by the way, just because they're performing well, it doesn't mean they're a buy. It doesn't mean they're going to go up every day or every week. It just means they're outperforming a Nasdaq, which is down 7%. I mean, heck, if you're flat, you're outperforming the Nasdaq right now. This is Google. It came down to its 21. Let's see if it gets support and bounces there. That one will be on our, or that should be on my ready list. That one looks pretty good. Another data center stock that gapped higher in earnings, pulled back to its 10. This one looks good too. It was down, nearly 3% today. But that's Vertiv Holdings, another one that I like. IONQ, this one got taken out to the woodshed today, back to the 50. It's up a lot though. It's up, 300% in 2023. So this one deserves and needs a rest. Okay, I'm going to go to more of these construction type data center plays. This is Sterling Infrastructure. This one's up like 40% since the Nasdaq pulled back just a month ago, July 19th. That was a month ago. What's today, the 16th? So these are just some of the stocks. Okay, I'm just pointing them out here. Like I said, just going sideways is showing strength. I kind of like this. You had a consolidation, flat base pattern, nice run up, and now it just consolidates and it just buys time, just eating up the supply, right? Not being sold. It's not selling off. It's just holding its gains right there along that 200 level. That one looks really good to me as well. Caterpillar had a stellar report. Now pulled back to its 21 EMA today, and I kind of like that. Not saying it's a buy, but I like stocks that find support at the 21. So I'll be watching that. The Knife River, the IPO, which was a spinoff from MDU. This one has been performing well. It's down 4% today, but it's up quite a bit since the Nasdaq started its pullback. Okay, the networking stocks, Arista Networks. This one should be up after hours. Yeah. This one looks ready to break out. It's just every day it looks like it wants to go, but the market weakness is just pulling it back and holding it down. But if the Nasdaq would just cooperate for a couple days, I think this thing could rip to 190 easily. Cisco reported tonight, and this thing's going to get some pin action from that report. Cisco had a good report. I don't know what it's doing right now, but I'm going to go through some of these computer networking stocks. This is Extreme Networks. Traded down to its 21. That's an extreme move, isn't it? Wow. What was that, 9%? Jeez. Yeah, well, I don't know what happened there. I'll have to look into that. This big volume move down to the 21. We'll see if it finds support there. This is what happens in pullbacks, like just random moves. Yeah, there's Cisco, up 2.5% after hours. They reported real strong earnings and revenues, raised their forward guidance. The CEO said they're seeing strong demand. So Cisco is hitting on all cylinders. Should have a good day tomorrow and lift that networking group. Okay, I'm going to get to the oil and gas stocks. Something that I know most of you really, this is inflationary, and this is why I don't like them. But Weatherford has been really strong. Pulled back to its 10 EMA today. Tidewater, another one, pulled back to its 21. So it's pretty hard to buy these. They're up so much, right? So it's kind of forming a little bull wedge pattern there. We'll see if it gets supported to 21. So Tidewater looks pretty good. Some of the other oil and gas stocks, those were field services. This is an exploration stock. Just California Resources. You can see on the weekly here that it had this long consolidation, broke out, and now it's starting to form this little wedge pattern here. Another pattern that I kind of like as it pulls back to its moving averages in lighter volume, if that matters to you. I know some people wrote books and made millions on one concept. Anyway, Permian. This one looks good. Again, you got to look at the weekly. Nice consolidation pattern. Just starting to peak out and push away from that base. It's a slower mover. It pays a decent yield. And it looks pretty good to me. I mean, if you like that type of stock, it's going to move slowly. But you can see that it is set up in a base and looks like it's pushing away. Another one in that group, NOV. Don't want to go too heavy oil and gas. This one is just forming a base, the right side there. And you can see it was up 6 weeks in a row and just kind of pulling back this week. So that one looks fine as well. I'm not going to do Halliburton. AMR, this is a coal stock, and this one is one that I like. It doesn't have a lot of volume, but you can see the long consolidation. What I like, the longer the base or the higher in space, and AMR looks good to me. 200 would not be out of the question. 198 after hours. Yeah, I would expect that real soon. Okay, let's get to some of these software names that I've had on my ready list, and I kind of like. This is a PRGS. You got to look at the weekly, and you can see it's kind of really choppy stock. Formed this little base on base pattern here. Just one that I'm watching, and it pulled back to the 21 here. So let's see if it finds support. Team is another one that I've been watching. Pull back to the 21 today. So all these stocks pulling back to the 21. They're outperforming and they're pulling back to the 21. Nasdaq oversold. Yeah, I can sniff out a bounce here pretty soon. This is not going to go on forever. The bears are not going to be feasting on the bull's carcass forever here. This is Cardlytics. This one is really ramped. I know some people don't like buying stocks below $10, and that's fine, but it's definitely ramped higher now, pulled back to its 10. So yeah, there's some software names doing well. The air conditioner, HVAC stocks, this is Mod, Breakout, pull back to the 10, that looks fine. Fix, this is just lower left to upper right. It pulled back to the 50 on earnings and just continued its rampage higher. Just a real quiet stock, slow, methodical. Nobody even talks about air conditioning stocks, right? I mean, so this is Lennox LLI that I'm trying to bring up here. If Marcus Smith would cooperate, and if it's not, I'm going to have to end this video because I can't sit here and look at Comfort Systems for the rest of the day. Anyway, take my word, Lennox LLI is doing well, and I guess I'm going to have to stop there. And oh, okay, Steve Jobs honor. I'll have to honor him. One more thing: the retail stocks. ELF, lower left to upper right. Gapped higher in earnings, and now it's pulled back to its 10, so it's doing nothing wrong, down 2% today. That's a real strong retail stock there. Celsius, another strong retail stock, gapped higher in earnings, and now it's just holding its gains there right around 180. That looks pretty decent as well. Dick's Sporting Goods, they report earnings next week, and I do have them on our watch list for this week. I'll take them off next week because the earnings reactions have just been way too radical, crazy this quarter. It's been insane. But this one's up more than 4% this week. And you got to protect capital. You don't just want to have a 15, 20% position in a stock and have it tank 25% like we've seen recently. So protect your capital, be smart about it. And like I said, one last thing, I got to mention TJX because their same store sales, their earnings report, this is a phenomenal report. And it gapped higher on heavier volume today, only a 4% move, but that's a nice move higher, a nice earnings report. And I'm just going to ask you to stay positive, hang in there. Pullbacks are part of the game. You want to lighten up, lose your laggards, trim some of your winners, raise cash during this time, and pretty soon we're going to be deploying some of this money into the market and buying some stocks because this is just getting oversold, as I showed you earlier. Yes, it can get more oversold, but at some point we're going to see some sort of bounce or relief rally at some point because we never give up.